Can we truly know someone's character? Beneath the layers of social media profiles, professional personas, and day-to-day interactions, how much can we really uncover about a person's true nature? And perhaps more importantly, how well do we understand our own character? These are questions that have intrigued philosophers for centuries, and Stoicism offers profound insights on the matter. Stoicism, an ancient Greek philosophy, is rooted in the idea of self-mastery, not just mastering external circumstances, but cultivating a strong, virtuous character that remains steady regardless of the turbulence around us. For Stoics, true character is revealed not by our public persona or our responses to praise, but by how we handle adversity, challenges, and our own internal thoughts. While many of us focus on understanding others, Stoic philosophy teaches that the key to unlocking true character, both our own and others, starts within ourselves. It begins with the realization that our reactions, judgments, and responses define who we are far more than external circumstances ever could. In this discussion, we'll explore actionable insights inspired by Stoic wisdom that will not only enhance how we relate to others, but also how we lead, influence, and ultimately shape the quality of our lives. Whether you're looking to improve personal relationships, become a more resilient leader, or simply elevate your everyday mindset, Stoicism offers powerful tools for understanding and cultivating character in a way that truly matters. By the end of this exploration, you'll have practical, Stoic-inspired strategies to guide you towards stronger self-awareness, better relationships, and a life that reflects your deepest values. So, let's begin this journey into understanding the nature of true character and how we can master it in both ourselves and others. Stoicism, founded in ancient Greece by Zeno of Citium, is a philosophy rooted in the belief that virtue is the highest good and the key to a flourishing life. While many of us seek external achievements or material success to find happiness, Stoics argue that true happiness comes from within, from living in harmony with our values, our actions, and our understanding of the world. The core principles of Stoicism can be summarized in four cardinal virtues: wisdom, the ability to discern what is true and act accordingly; courage, the strength to face adversity and do what is right, even in the face of fear; temperance, the practice of self-control and moderation in all things; justice, treating others with fairness and respect, ensuring our actions contribute to the greater good. In the modern world, where distractions and pressures constantly pull us in different directions, Stoicism offers a powerful framework for maintaining peace of mind and making deliberate, thoughtful choices. By focusing on what we can control, our actions, responses, and attitudes, we can navigate life's challenges with clarity and resilience. In a world that often values immediate gratification or external success, Stoicism provides a roadmap for long-term fulfillment rooted in virtue. The Stoic view of character is one of deep introspection and personal responsibility. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius Seneca and Epictetus held that our true character is revealed not by grand gestures or lofty ideals, but by the small, everyday actions we take. These actions, how we respond to challenges, treat others, and live our lives according to virtue, ultimately define us. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, famously wrote in his Meditations that virtue is the only thing truly within our control, and he encouraged himself to practice humility, justice, and wisdom in his daily interactions, even when faced with immense power and pressure. Seneca, a Stoic statesman and writer, emphasized the importance of living with integrity. He noted that character is tested in times of adversity, not in moments of comfort when external conditions are favorable, but in how we respond to setbacks, challenges, and hardships. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, taught that our character is built through our choices, that it's not our circumstances that define us, but how we handle those circumstances. He emphasized that we should focus on what we can control, including our thoughts, actions, and responses to the world. For the Stoics, character is about cultivating habits of virtuous action moment by moment. It's not enough to make one noble decision in a lifetime. Instead, our character is the sum of our daily choices, how we live with integrity in even the smallest moments. Stoicism is not a philosophy meant to remain confined to dusty old books or the ivory towers of academia. It's a practical guide to life, designed for anyone who seeks to live with meaning, purpose, and integrity. Stoicism's timeless wisdom isn't reserved for philosophers alone. It's for everyone, whether you're dealing with personal struggles, leading a team, or simply trying to navigate the ups and downs of daily life. By embracing Stoicism, we can shift our focus from external outcomes to internal growth, leading to more resilient, purposeful lives. Stoicism teaches us to find peace and strength in the face of life's inevitable challenges and to approach each day with intention and self-awareness. In a world where distractions are rampant and success is often measured by superficial markers, Stoicism offers a grounding philosophy that emphasizes what truly matters: virtue, self-control, and the pursuit of wisdom. It encourages us to live each day with integrity, not waiting for perfect conditions or extraordinary events, but building a character worthy of respect in our everyday actions. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by images, stories, and opinions, it's easy to fall into the trap of relying on surface level judgments. Appearances can be deceiving, and often the true essence of a person's character is hidden beneath the veneer of social status, wealth, or outward achievements. But there's a simpler and more effective way to uncover who someone truly is: by observing their actions in everyday situations. Small gestures, the way someone responds to stress, how they treat others when they think no one is watching, their level of kindness in private moments, often reveal far more about a person than their public persona ever could. The Stoics believed in the power of deep observation, not just in others, but in ourselves. By paying attention to these subtle signals, we can see beyond the surface and understand the character of those around us, and even gain insights into our own. One of the most revealing aspects of a person's character is how they treat those who have no power to benefit them, like a barista, a janitor, or a waiter. In many ways, these interactions are where we see true humility, respect, and integrity. How someone treats those in a position of service tells us more about their nature than how they behave around people who can offer them something in return. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher and advisor to Emperor Nero, wisely said, "Treat your inferiors as you would wish your superiors to treat you." This powerful reminder encourages us to examine how we behave when there is no tangible reward to be gained. Do we act with respect, kindness, and gratitude, or do we overlook and take others for granted? The same principle applies to how we observe others. When you see someone treating a cashier or waiter with dignity, even when no one is watching, it speaks volumes about their respect for others and their inner character. True virtue is shown in the most ordinary of interactions. It's easy to remain calm when everything is going smoothly, but true character emerges when things go wrong. How do people react when faced with minor inconveniences like a traffic jam, a wrong order at a restaurant, or a delayed flight? These seemingly insignificant moments reveal a lot about a person's emotional control, patience, and inner peace. The Stoics recognize that life will inevitably throw us setbacks, but it's not the setbacks themselves that matter. It's how we respond to them. Seneca put it simply, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." How we handle minor frustrations, big or small, shows our level of resilience. The Stoic practice is to remain calm and measured in these moments, recognizing that the only thing we can control is our response, not the situation. Personal anecdotes often reveal this truth. A colleague who remains composed during a stressful meeting, a friend who doesn't lose their temper when things don't go according to plan, or someone who, instead of complaining about a delay, uses the time to read or reflect. These are the people whose character shines through. When observing others, pay attention to their reactions during the minor frustrating moments. Do they maintain grace under pressure, or do they lash out, letting their emotions take control? This is where true character reveals itself. Perhaps the most telling signs of a person's character are those that occur when no one is watching. Unseen actions, those small moments of integrity and kindness that aren't meant for public recognition, are the ones that reveal who we really are at our core. Do they return their shopping cart to the stall? Do they keep a promise even when it's inconvenient? Do they offer help to a stranger without expecting anything in return? These small, seemingly insignificant actions are where integrity and moral fiber shine the brightest. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it." Stoicism teaches us that our actions, especially those performed without an audience, are the true test of our character. Integrity is demonstrated in the actions we take when no one is looking, and it's this integrity that defines us in the long run. Consider how a colleague behaves when there's no spotlight on them. Do they perform their work with the same level of care as when they're under scrutiny? A person who goes out of their way to assist others, not for accolades, but out of genuine kindness, embodies Stoic values of virtue and moral excellence. By adopting a Stoic mindset of keen observation, we can avoid falling into the trap of superficial judgments and truly understand the character of those around us. Whether it's noticing how someone treats those who can't benefit them, observing their responses to minor frustrations, or witnessing their integrity in unseen moments, Stoicism reminds us that character is revealed not in grand gestures, but in the details of everyday life. When we train ourselves to see beyond appearances, we begin to understand the true essence of those around us, and importantly, we deepen our understanding of our own character. In Stoicism, understanding the character of others is only half the equation. The other half, the often more difficult part, is understanding yourself. While it's easy to look at the world around us and critique how others behave, the Stoics remind us that the foundation of personal growth begins with introspection and self-awareness. As we navigate our daily lives, it's essential to regularly ask ourselves the tough questions. How do I handle frustration? Do my actions align with my core values? Am I true to myself even when no one is watching? These questions help us to recognize where we need to grow and provide the clarity necessary to live in harmony with our deeper principles. Self-reflection is a key Stoic practice, and one of the best ways to cultivate it is through daily journaling. By writing down your thoughts, reactions, and observations of your behaviors, you can begin to recognize patterns that either align or conflict with your Stoic ideals. Journaling helps you keep track of your progress, confront your weaknesses, and celebrate your successes, leading you to a more intentional and authentic life. Self-control is one of the central virtues in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believe that true strength comes not from external circumstances or achievements, but from our ability to control our impulses, desires, and emotions. This kind of self-mastery is what separates those who are governed by their circumstances from those who remain steadfast regardless of what life throws at them. Imagine being in a situation where someone insults you, perhaps in a public setting. Your initial impulse might be to react, shouting back, seeking to defend yourself, or even seeking revenge. But what if, instead of reacting impulsively, you paused and took control of your response? This is the essence of Stoic self-control. It's the ability to pause before you react, to choose a response that reflects your higher values rather than being enslaved to momentary emotions. A real-life example of self-control could be found in the workplace. Picture a colleague who, after receiving unjust criticism, remains calm and composed, even though they feel hurt or frustrated. Instead of lashing out or holding onto resentment, they choose to listen, ask questions, and respond thoughtfully. That level of emotional mastery is a hallmark of the Stoic approach to life. True strength lies not in the ability to manipulate external events, but in the ability to control our internal reactions. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that our actions reveal our inner character, especially the actions we take when no one is watching. The true measure of who we are lies in the private moments, those times when there is no external validation, no applause, and no recognition. For example, what do you do when no one is around to see you? Do you still uphold your values in private, or do you take shortcuts when you think no one will notice? What you do in these private moments speaks volumes about your integrity and inner character. This Stoic insight can be applied to everyday life. Do you follow through on promises even when it's inconvenient? Do you remain kind when no one is watching, or do you allow impatience or frustration to take over? These seemingly small actions are a direct reflection of your true values and your commitment to living by them. Through the practice of mindfulness, we can become more attuned to our actions, particularly when they are driven by unconscious habits. This awareness is the first step toward personal growth. It enables us to identify when our actions don't align with our values and to correct course. Self-awareness in the Stoic sense is the ability to observe your own behavior without judgment and make intentional choices to improve. Epictetus's wisdom. First say to yourself what you would be and then do what you have to do. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, famously said, "First say to yourself what you would be and then do what you have to do." This powerful quote encapsulates the essence of Stoic self-mastery. It teaches us that our actions should align with the character we desire to cultivate. Before we react or act in any situation, we must first envision the person we want to be. Someone who is calm in the face of adversity, who is generous without seeking recognition, and who lives according to their highest principles. Once we've identified the type of person we aspire to be, the next step is to take deliberate action that aligns with that vision. This alignment between thought and action is key to developing a strong Stoic character. It's about living consistently with your values, even when it's hard or inconvenient. The practice of self-reflection and mindfulness helps us align our actions with the person we want to become. Self-awareness, when practiced consistently, helps us understand ourselves better and live with greater authenticity. Through the lens of Stoicism, we come to realize that true mastery is not about controlling the world around us, but about mastering ourselves, our thoughts, our reactions, and our actions. By embracing daily practices of reflection and self-control, we begin to align our behavior with our values and cultivate a character that remains steady, regardless of the circumstances. Remember, as Epictetus wisely advised, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. When our actions align with our desired character, we take the next step on the path to self-mastery. The Stoic worldview teaches us that relationships should be based on authenticity, trust, and mutual respect, rather than manipulation, selfishness, or fleeting emotional reactions. At the core of any meaningful relationship, whether with friends, family, or colleagues, are the virtues of patience, kindness, and honesty. These virtues, central to Stoic philosophy, are the foundation of deep and lasting connections. Patience allows us to accept others as they are without trying to change them for our own benefit. Kindness encourages us to act with compassion and understanding, even when we are not getting something in return. Honesty ensures that we remain transparent and true, fostering an environment where trust can flourish. By practicing these Stoic virtues, we show up as our most authentic selves, which naturally strengthens our relationships. A real-life example of this might be seen in a colleague who consistently supports others without expectation of reward. By being patient during a stressful project, listening attentively, and offering help freely, this person builds trust and respect over time. Even in situations of disagreement, they remain calm and focused on the common goal, fostering a sense of unity and mutual respect. This approach can also extend to family and friendships. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control the actions of others, but we can choose how we show up. If we approach our relationships with kindness and integrity, others are more likely to reciprocate in kind. This creates an atmosphere of mutual respect that elevates everyone involved. One of the fundamental Stoic teachings is that consistency in actions is key to building trust and solidifying relationships. Honor your commitments, no matter how small, and your integrity will shine through. Consider the impact of consistently following through on even the smallest promises. Whether it's showing up to a meeting on time, replying to a text, or fulfilling a work-related commitment, these small acts of consistency might seem insignificant in the moment, but they create a foundation of reliability that others can trust. Over time, they build a reputation of being someone others can count on. Let me share a personal anecdote that illustrates this. A few years ago, I made a commitment to a friend to help them with a small task, despite having a busy schedule. At the time, it didn't seem like a big deal, but by honoring that commitment, I demonstrated my reliability. That single act of following through on my word deepened our friendship. And from then on, trust was established as a cornerstone of our relationship. This small, consistent action had a ripple effect, making the relationship stronger and more meaningful. In Stoicism, The emphasis on consistency over time can be a powerful tool for building relationships that are based on integrity and respect, not just fleeting emotions or gestures. It's about showing up again and again with honor, even when the effort might seem insignificant. One of the greatest challenges in relationships is handling conflict, whether it's a disagreement with a colleague, a misunderstanding with a friend, or tension within a family dynamic. How we manage conflict can determine the strength and longevity of a relationship. Stoicism offers invaluable tools for effective communication and conflict resolution by encouraging us to focus on solutions, maintain emotional control, and approach disagreements with empathy. Stoicism teaches us to remain calm in conversations, regardless of how emotionally charged they may be. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to let emotions cloud our judgment and escalate the conflict. However, by practicing emotional control and taking a step back, we create space for more thoughtful, solution-oriented communication. Rather than reacting impulsively, we can pause, reflect, and choose a response that aligns with our higher values. For instance, I once witnessed a conflict between two colleagues. One was upset because the other had missed a deadline, which caused a delay in the project. The immediate reaction was frustration and defensiveness, but instead of escalating the situation, the team member who had missed the deadline calmly acknowledged the mistake, explained the circumstances, and suggested a plan for making up the lost time. By approaching the situation with calmness, responsibility, and a willingness to work toward a solution, they diffused the tension and restored trust. Another key aspect of Stoic communication is empathy. It's easy to view conflict as a battle to be won, but Stoicism teaches us that understanding the other person's perspective is crucial. By actively listening and acknowledging the other person's feelings, we foster an environment where both parties feel heard, respected, and valued. This leads to more constructive, less emotionally charged conversations. For example, in a disagreement with a friend, rather than immediately defending myself or pointing out their faults, I might ask, "Can you help me understand how you're feeling right now?" This simple gesture of empathy shifts the dynamic from confrontation to collaboration. We are more likely to resolve conflicts effectively when we approach them from a place of mutual understanding and respect. In conflict resolution, emotional control and empathy can help us stay grounded and prevent rash decisions. By focusing on finding common ground and being solutions-oriented, we can prevent unnecessary tension and strengthen the bonds of our relationships. By practicing Stoic principles such as patience, kindness, consistency, and emotional control, we can build relationships that are grounded in trust, respect, and authenticity. Whether it's honoring our commitments, communicating effectively, or resolving conflicts with empathy, Stoicism offers practical tools for navigating everyday life. These principles don't just make us better individuals, they help us foster stronger, more meaningful connections with the people around us. In both relationships and leadership, power has the potential to either uplift or destroy. Power, when misused, can reveal a person's insecurities and arrogance. Too often, those in positions of authority resort to tactics of domination, control, or manipulation to assert their position. Yet Stoicism teaches us that true power is rooted in self-mastery, and the way power is used reveals the character of the person wielding it. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, viewed leadership as a service to others. Rather than dominating or exploiting those beneath him, his leadership was centered on the idea of being of use to others. He famously wrote, "The best way to take care of the future is to take care of the present." This mindset underscores his belief that the role of a leader is to guide, support, and empower those they lead, not to demand submission or control. One real-world example of this principle in action can be seen in the leadership of Nelson Mandela. Mandela used his power not to seek vengeance or retribution after his release from prison, but to reconcile and unite a divided nation. He could have chosen to wield his power with bitterness, but instead he chose humility, empathy, and service. His leadership style demonstrated that true power comes from the ability to inspire others and unite them for the greater good, traits that reflect the Stoic ideals of justice, wisdom, and integrity. In Stoicism, leadership is not about asserting control, but about empowering others. A true leader isn't someone who forces others to follow them, but someone who inspires others through their actions, values, and compassion. Stoic leadership emphasizes humility, respect, and collaboration. Leaders who practice these virtues create environments where people feel valued, heard, and supported, which ultimately leads to greater productivity and harmony. A Stoic leader's character is revealed through how they treat those who are subordinate to them, particularly when those individuals have little ability to challenge or critique their decisions. A leader's use of power is also evident in their ability to listen, collaborate, and acknowledge the contributions of others. A fantastic example of a leader who exemplified Stoic virtues is Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. When Nadella took over as CEO, Microsoft had become a company known for its rigidity, internal competition, and lack of cohesion. Nadella embraced a growth mindset, encouraging empathy, collaboration, and learning from failure. He transformed the company culture by focusing on empowering employees and fostering a sense of shared purpose. Rather than dictating top-down decisions, Nadella emphasized listening, humility, and understanding. His leadership is a modern-day example of how Stoic principles like temperance, wisdom, and justice can be applied in the corporate world to create a more compassionate and innovative environment. A critical component of Stoic leadership is the ability to handle adversity with courage and resilience. Stoic leaders maintain their composure under pressure and face challenges head-on with a steady mind. They understand that external circumstances are beyond our control, but how we respond to them is entirely within our power. When faced with crises, Stoic leaders do not panic or allow their emotions to dictate their actions. Instead, they remain calm, focused, and resolute, guiding their teams through difficult times with a sense of clarity and purpose. A modern example of a Stoic leader in a time of crisis is Jacinda Ardern, former Prime Minister of New Zealand. During the tragic Christchurch shootings in 2019, Ardern responded not with anger or divisiveness, but with a deep sense of empathy, strength, and resolve. Her calmness under pressure, her ability to unite a grieving nation, and her commitment to justice in the face of adversity demonstrated the Stoic principles of wisdom and courage. Ardern's leadership style was a perfect embodiment of the Stoic ideal of mastering one's emotions and using influence for the greater good, showing that courage in the face of adversity, paired with emotional resilience, can bring out the best in others. The Stoic perspective on power is that it's not just in the big moments, the major decisions or public gestures, but also in the small, everyday choices we make that impact those around us. Leadership and power are demonstrated in the way we interact with others on a daily basis, how we treat our colleagues, the respect we show for others' time, and the example we set in our actions. These are the true reflections of our character and influence. Take, for example, a leader who leads by example, one who takes the time to listen to their team, offers guidance without micromanaging, and respects everyone's opinions and time. This leader doesn't simply give orders, but cultivates an environment where each individual feels valued and heard. Over time, this type of leadership creates a culture of mutual respect, trust, and collaboration, where people are motivated to work together for a shared vision. I've experienced firsthand the impact of this approach in a workplace environment. In a team where the leader took the time to truly listen to each team member, acknowledge their contributions, and provide constructive feedback without demeaning anyone, the overall morale of the group soared. People felt more motivated, more empowered to contribute, and more connected to the mission of the company. This example demonstrates how leadership based on humility, empathy, and respect creates a positive ripple effect that extends beyond the immediate circle, leading to a culture of cooperation and trust. Leadership, when rooted in Stoic principles, is not about control or domination. It's about empowering others, serving the greater good, and using influence wisely. By practicing humility, listening, and leading by example, Stoic leaders create environments where people can thrive and where power is used to uplift rather than suppress. Whether in times of crisis or in daily interactions, the way we wield power reveals our character and shapes the world around us. Remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. The best way to take care of the future is to take care of the present. The small, consistent acts of leadership we practice every day shape the future of our teams, our communities, and our own lives. But beyond simply practicing Stoicism, it's important to consider the ultimate purpose behind living such a life. Stoicism isn't just about personal growth or philosophical enlightenment, it's also about leaving a meaningful legacy. In the Stoic tradition, the focus isn't just on how we live now, but how our actions will impact the future. Ask yourself, what legacy do I want to leave behind? How do I want to be remembered by those I leave behind? These are powerful questions that shift our focus from short-term gratification to long-term impact. Legacy isn't something that's created overnight. It's the result of decisions made day after day, grounded in our virtues and actions. For example, Marcus Aurelius, despite being an emperor, is remembered more for his reflections and meditations on how to live a virtuous life than for his political or military accomplishments. His legacy is tied not to his power, but to the wisdom he cultivated and shared and the moral example he set for others. His life was marked by efforts to serve others with humility, and this is what continues to resonate long after his death. His own words offer us a reminder. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. The beauty of Stoicism lies in its practicality. It's not just a set of lofty ideals for philosophers in ancient Greece, but a philosophy for living well, a guide to everyday actions that create lasting, meaningful change. Small daily actions form the bedrock of Stoic practice. By consciously practicing Stoic virtues every day, we lay the foundation for a life well lived and a legacy worth leaving behind. Daily habits are where the real transformation happens. Stoicism doesn't ask us to make dramatic changes overnight. It simply requires consistent effort over time. Practicing Stoicism daily could look like meditation or reflection in the morning, contemplating your virtues and how you can embody them throughout the day, journaling at night to reflect on your actions, thoughts, and reactions. What went well? What could you improve? Did you act in accordance with your values? Mindful decision making. Before reacting to a situation, take a moment to pause, breathe, and consider how you can respond with wisdom and virtue. Gratitude practice, where you express thanks for the good in your life, helping you focus on what's within your control and what truly matters. These small practices build the muscle of self-discipline, emotional resilience, and clarity of mind, all vital components of a Stoic life. Over time, these small habits accumulate, creating a ripple effect that affects our relationships, work, and overall sense of fulfillment. The Stoic path to a life well lived is not just about living virtuously for its own sake, it's about leaving behind a meaningful legacy that impacts the world long after we're gone. Stoicism teaches that every choice we make, how we treat others, how we use our time, how we manage stress, and how we approach leadership creates a ripple effect. These small, consistent actions shape our personal and professional legacies in profound ways. Take Epictetus, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, for example. While his personal circumstances were difficult, he was born a slave. He didn't allow his situation to define him. Instead, he focused on cultivating inner freedom through his philosophy and teaching. His legacy was not built on wealth or social status, but on wisdom and self-mastery that continue to inspire millions. Or consider Mahatma Gandhi, a figure who exemplified Stoic principles of courage, justice, and nonviolence. Through his commitment to these values, Gandhi inspired a movement that not only freed a nation, but also became a beacon for global human rights. His legacy is a direct result of how he chose to act in accordance with his virtues. In times of great hardship, he responded with courage, patience, and empathy, showing the world that change begins within. These examples show that our legacy isn't something external, like monuments or titles, but something internal, our impact on the world, the lessons we impart, and the way we inspire others to live virtuously. The impact we make on the lives of others, whether through our professional work, our relationships, or the small daily acts of kindness and integrity, becomes our lasting contribution to the world. The Stoic path to a legacy is built on self-awareness, self-discipline, and an unyielding commitment to live by our highest values. No matter the external circumstances, over time, these efforts compound to create a meaningful life, a life where virtue is the ultimate measure of success. Creating a meaningful legacy is not about seeking recognition or external rewards. It's about living a life in alignment with our core principles and virtues. By practicing Stoicism daily, embracing small actions that reflect wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice, we build not only a life worth living, but also a legacy that will endure. The ripple effect of our choices impacts generations, showing that our actions, no matter how small, can have a profound effect on the world. As you reflect on your own legacy, consider the wise words of Seneca. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Let's choose to live intentionally, to make decisions that reflect the person we wish to become, and to build a life that leaves a lasting impact on the world around us. As we wrap up this journey into Stoic philosophy, let us take a moment to reflect on the profound lessons we've uncovered. From understanding the true essence of character to applying the wisdom of Stoic principles in our daily lives, we've explored how to live with integrity, resilience, and purpose. But the most important takeaway is that the journey of self-improvement begins with awareness and consistent action. The Stoics believe that we have the power to shape our character through our decisions, actions, and reactions. It's not enough to simply know what's right or to talk about how we wish to live. What truly matters is whether we live by those principles each day. We don't need to be perfect. We simply need to commit to the process of growth. I encourage you, as you leave this discussion, to start applying these Stoic insights in your own life. Begin with small actions, but make them consistent. Whether it's journaling to reflect on your day, practicing self-control in moments of frustration, or choosing empathy over anger in your relationships, each moment is an opportunity to embody the Stoic virtues. Over time, these actions will accumulate and shape your character in ways you may not yet fully realize. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. This is your call to action. You are the architect of your character. Don't spend any more time thinking about what you could be or what you should do. Start doing it today. Whether you're looking to improve your relationships, your leadership, or your personal growth, the key is to live. The power of Stoic philosophy isn't just in its intellectual appeal. It's in its ability to guide us toward living a life of purpose, integrity, and self-reflection. By practicing Stoic virtues, we don't only elevate our own lives, we inspire those around us to do the same. Let your legacy be one of strength and compassion, of wisdom and courage. The path to greatness is not in grand gestures, but in the small, consistent actions we take every day to improve ourselves and positively impact the world. So, begin today. Be the person you aspire to be, and in doing so, make the world a better place.